All right, everyone, welcome back. We are just finishing up the ceilings from the last video. So as you remember, we textured, we knocked it down. We gave it a few days. I probably could have given it even 2 or 3 more days because when we were finished, it felt dry enough. But when you're done painting, you get like these very tiny pinholes and it's just the paint absorbing in. So the longer you can let your ceilings and new texture dry, honestly, the better. And I'm sure it's better to spray it. But again, this is just what we do. Our tool level is like the upper end of the DIY guy, but we don't have like all the pro tools for everything just because we do painting, texture, ceilings, floor, windows, everything. So we have enough to get us by, but perhaps not enough to make us pro level awesome. So the boys came by, they got everything painted. This is definitely one of my most least favorite things, painting ceilings. It just doesn't look that cool. There's not like a big transition when you're done. It's not like painting the wall is super fun color, so it's awesome. But whatever, we got it all done. It's a lot easier to paint ceilings, by the way, pro tip, with the lights off and a light on the ground, just like texturing, because then you can see like those pinholes. And then at the end where you take a bright light and kind of walk around and get it, because when you're all done, you have your floors in and your new walls painted and your house is all shiny and ready for staging, you're going to look up at the ceiling and you're going to see all these pinholes everywhere. Everyone may not notice it, but you're going to notice it, and it's stupid and super annoying. So take your time. Fresh drywall texture usually takes 2 coats. So we're going to give it 2 coats of paint. It's just not worth it to give it 1 coat and try to patch here and there. Give it 2 coats. It'll give it a richer color anyways. But yeah, fresh drywall texture really sucks up all the paint. So I'll let the boys finish painting here really quick, and we will go from there. Alrighty, and that is a wrap on the paint. So, just as a quick heads up too, we also painted the 3 bedrooms and the bathroom at the same time. It made it super easy, just get it all done at once, and move on. So, on to my favorite part of this video. So, I think it's really cool. Again, I'm sure drywall crew guys come in, they're like, oh, 2 of us did 180 sheets in a day. Whatever, I'm not a pro drywaller. As you can see, I'm not the skinniest person. I'm way out of shape. Whatever. I had no help in the morning, and I really wanted to get this done. I was going to do a different task. I was going to wait till the afternoon. I was like, nah, I'm going to lay ceiling sheetrock by myself. So I knew this the day before, so I did grab a new tool. It's like the drywall drill. It has like an attachment on the end, and it has a clip of screws in it. So all you have to do is just push it up into the ceiling, hit the trigger, and it goes. You don't have to sit there with 2 hands and fiddle around. So if I had to do that, there's absolutely no way I could have done this by myself. And so as you go through and see, I left that first attempt in there, like my first fail. I used a full-size 2x4, and I was like, this is going to be awesome. Then I realized once I put my spacerboard in, there was only like an inch space, and I'm like, this is not going to be enough like leeway for what I wanted to do. So I made those little L-shaped brackets that you saw. I put 3 of them up. It lets me kind of angle them down independently, and it lets you adjust them to whatever width or length you need. And then I put 3 screw holes in each so I can make them longer or shorter as I need. And I pre-drilled all the holes in the first board. So 1, it didn't split, and then 2, it just kind of made it super easy. So they're not like ultra strong or anything. And as you can see, I put the piece up, held it with my neck and my other arm, and put it up. I'm sure it was dumb, whatever. And when I did that second one, if you saw before I put any supports up, I tried it. I got a little cocky. I thought, hey, I can speed this up. I don't have to use those supports. I made one effort and was like, yeah, that's a big no. So something to note, I know I'm just going to get pointed out later. Normally when you put sheetrock up, you put like a screw in the end, 2 screws in the middle, another screw in the end, down each stud, 4 in a row. I put like 6 or 7 on certain spots because my only goal was just get this thing hung without falling down on my head. And also I had on the first piece, was the first time I ever used that tool, so there's some depth issues on the screw gun. So again, that's why you saw me put like 9 screws in the first stud and like 11 screws in the second stud. And then I had to go back and switch and use the other gun and kind of set them a little deeper because they weren't set deep enough. And then a couple were set too deep. So I had to redo some ones next to it so it had a good hold because it tore through the paper, etc. Anyways, and then the last tool I think that I don't have a cordless version of is the Roto Zip, just because I hate doing sheetrock. And my goal is always, once I do sheetrock, is I always say I'm never doing sheetrock again. But then I always do sheetrock again. So maybe I should just go spend a few extra bucks and get a cordless one of those because it'd be super sweet. Because I usually pre-measure for where the lights are, the vents, etc. You put your sheetrock up, put your screws kind of far away from it, and then you saw me go through with the Roto Zip and just zip it in and then go plunge it to the outside of like where the light is and then go around in a circle, cuts it out, sucks it in perfect. There, I just did it with the vent. Same thing, easy money. So overall, this went pretty good. Like it was actually pretty sweet. I was making some measurements, taking my time. As you keep watching the video, you'll see the light gets a little bit darker. I did start, I think in the morning, like at 8:30, I'm pretty sure, like right after I dropped the kids off, 8:15, 8:30. Something else to also note, I saw somewhere else in some video, somebody was criticizing someone. I've actually seen it several times where they're like, oh yeah, dude, you got to have your sheetrock seams like staggered for strength. But there's just no way that sheetrock and shitty shitrock screws are going to have any kind of strength. And so here it comes, dudes. Here is where I went from doing the ceiling by myself to calling for some backup. You'll see in about 2 seconds here, I cut this L-shaped piece, didn't support it. Boom, right there, had it on my head like an idiot. I don't know why I didn't put an extra support in. I broke it, and this morning at Lowe's or Home Depot, wherever I went, probably Lowe's, I grabbed just enough sheetrock to finish the day, like exactly enough. And I hate going to the store in the middle of the day. I like to do it before I start the day, go to the store, grab it. So I did have to call my dad, come get some help. Here you go. We took the supports out, and as you can see, it was super easy with 2 people. He wasn't available in the mornings, and I also didn't want to call him and hassle him with doing shitrock work. I use him for intellectual jobs only. Anyways, this probably did him good, though. So as you can see there, here's the problem. Notice how fast I went by myself. You call another person in, look at all this. Look at all this chit-chat, this fiddling, this planning. There's no work. Too much planning, not enough work. So we're determining, like, I'm just joking. It was helpful. We were determining, like, where to put new blocking, what was the best method, where's the next sheet going to go, etc. And I said, hey, while you're here and available, help me throw the next sheet up. It was 10 times faster. Didn't have to put the supports up, and away we went. I think we put that sheet in. We might have done one more. And then he went home, and it was good to go. So I will say that since I got the screw gun, if you had 2 people and regular sheetrock, because this was just half-inch sheetrock, it wasn't the 5/8, so it wasn't super heavy, no big deal. I probably could have done this whole ceiling like in 4 times as fast. So I don't know. Next time I'm going to wait. I'm going to call someone. It was more kind of like that I really want to see if I can do it kind of thing. And then, hey, look, I'm recording it so people have to believe me later. And then I was telling a buddy about it, and he's like, oh, yeah, my dad did sheetrock for 30 years, and he always did it like that. So, yeah, less cool. Something I found, too, honestly, I think the smaller the sheet, the harder it is because they just don't have the strength as a larger sheet. So even though they're lighter, as you can see, they're kind of wobbly. They're kind of flimsy. That one I put in over by the door, I was super scared it was going to break. And then these 2 skinny ones here, look at how much wobble they have. There's just like one wrong move away from breaking. But otherwise, it went really good. It wasn't that hard. It was a single person for the most part. As you can see, it is dark outside. It did take me the entire day just to sheetrock a ceiling. Probably not the most efficient way to do it, but whatever. It worked good. I got it done. I didn't have to have any help. Since it's December still, it's during the school year, so the boys can only help after school. So they help from like 4 to 7. So I get there like 8:15 or 8:30. I go over and have dinner really quick for like 30 minutes at my parents' house because it's close on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then boom, back to here from 4 to 7, 7:30, however long they want to go. I'd love to go home, but since I have the help, I just want to get it finished. So this is what we do here. And then Luke does come later on today. And then I have him working upstairs, doing a whole bunch of cleanup. He just saw him in the doorway. And we go from there. Whenever I hang stuff on like posts or things like this, I just hang it, I oversize it by an inch, then you take the roto zip and you run it down it, and then you just take Slick Carl, which is the nickname for the drywall planer that I have, and you throw it on. So that took me one day. The next day I was back, I got the mud. This is where I'm sure two people would have came in handy also the previous day, because now I have to mud 9,000 holes since I made several extras. No big deal, it's whatever, right? You mud a few holes, you move on. I also did all of the wall taping, wetted down the mud a little bit, preset it, put it on, pushed it in, etc. One bummer of this footage for some reason that's going to come up here in a minute, I did, when I mud the ceiling, again, we have like DIY level tools or like upper end DIY level tools. We don't have any of the pro level tools. I think for the most part, the pro level tools are cool for like durability and a little extra added bonus. Drywall, however, the pro level tools where you have like the bazooka gun or whatever it's called, the bazooka box, you're on the ground, you just walk it down and you tape entire seams at once. That would be really sweet to have. But the tool that we use, what is it? The Mud Buddy, I think it's called. It's this green little box. I'll link it in the description. It's like $25 or $30 on Amazon. You load your mud on one side, and you put your tape on the other, and you just roll it through. You can do it with one person. You have to use small pieces, but my mom and I have always done this together. It's worked really well. You just pull it out the length of the room or the length of your seam, whatever it is, and then you just cut it with a knife. You both go up on the ladder, and you set it on the ceiling, and then you just walk down with your knife. It takes like 2 seconds. It's sweet. It's no big deal. For some reason, boom, we're done. I don't know what happened to the footage. I didn't record it, but it would have been probably pretty cool to see it because it works out really well. Anyways, this is also where maybe the DIY level tools kind of suck. I just take a trowel and some mud and I go down the seams. And I know they make those little tools on a stick with the bucket and you just walk down and do the whole ceiling at once. Sweet. We don't have that again. They're like $1,000 I think each. They're expensive. So this is probably where I kill a lot of times. I kill a lot of time doing it. We just purchased another property. It's smaller, 1,100 square feet, but the entire thing, ceilings, walls, everything needs to be totally gutted. So it's going to be completely sheetrocked. So it might be time to grab a set of those tools where it's finally worth it. So I'm pretty excited for that. I am going to record videos on this new house too. So I'll keep you posted. If I get those new tools, you'll know right away because I will be super excited. So I just go through and try to do like basically like a skim coat, float it out a little bit, fill the seams, fill the gaps, make it nice and flush. I usually do one and then I give it a quick rough sand, just go down really quick with the hand sand, and then I do it one more time, and then we'll take the power sander, attach to the vacuum, and get the whole thing totally smooth, flat, good to go. So something to note when you do this also, because there's no lighting up above you right now, is to take a bright light with someone else on each side of the room and shine it, especially when it's dark outside, and see if you see any valleys, hips, ridges, whatever, especially where your seams are, because you'll notice that later. So got that all finished. That was the plumber there. They were getting the bathroom going downstairs. And really quick, I just wanted to end the video. Since we got the upstairs ceilings all painted, kind of the fun part, we're throwing some light fixtures in. So I did a stair light fixture, and then I did all three in the bedrooms. So one, it's pretty sweet when you come in and out of the house to have some lights back, which is nice. And also, it just gives it a cool look. Like I came back the next day, boom, light fixtures were in. I had light when I walked in, and it's just like, hey, it's starting to look updated. It's awesome. Once we paint the walls, perfect. So threw a larger one on the stairwell, hung it down. I feel like watching this video, it looked really easy, but I remember clammy hands, super sweaty, because it just looks so far down to the next level, and I am not a fan of heights. So got all new light fixtures in, super stoked, kind of makes it modern immediately. Boom, there you go. We have light. All right, guys, till next time.